GPU prices don't look to be coming down anytime soon. People are getting scammed, and AMD's Ryzen 10800X3D is set to be a monster. Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. But first, if you're still trying to buy a new GPU at a reasonable price and you want to know when those prices actually happen, make sure you subscribe to Gamer Meld and click that bell icon. I'll definitely keep you up to date on all the latest PC hardware news. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, it's been almost 2 months since Nvidia released their 5090 and 5080 cards, and it's nearing a month since AMD released their 9000 series, and yet prices are still astronomical. And this brings me to a new Reddit post on our Nvidia, which shows a ton of 5090s as well as some 5080s at a micro center in Dallas. The only problem is that they're selling for around $3,700.
Are you kidding me?
Which actually led to a ton of articles claiming that no one's buying these cards at that price, and that's why there's a ton of them. Well, unfortunately, it's now been confirmed by Tom's Hardware that they have in fact been sold. Now, don't get me wrong, I was really happy when I first saw those articles, but it got me really thinking, who is buying cards at these prices? I mean, the 5090 isn't even all that much faster than the 4090. You can buy a 4090 right now for, okay, that's not it, but at least a 7900 XTX is still a great, it's now above MSRP when no one wanted to buy one. So what is going on? Some people seem to think it's due to AMD and Nvidia ramping down production of their last gen cards, but that's just to up production of current gen. Could demand from gamers have all of a sudden risen that high because of a new generation? Maybe they were waiting for that new generation, but that happens with every new generation. I mean, the 5000 series also hasn't exactly been well received to say the least, yet those are selling like mad. Some people claim everyone ran out to buy 40 cards because the 50 series was so bad, but that doesn't explain why AMD's older cards went up as well, especially because they claim that they sold 10 times as much as they normally do in the first week. Basically, I think the reason really has to do with a number of things, but the biggest one being AI demand. And this I think comes from two places. For one, with people flat out buying 50 cards directly for AI. You can see right here that China is buying them so much that 5090s are now being sold for up to $5,000 in their black market, as they state, creating a crypto-like era demand. And they attribute most of this to DeepSeek AI's success. So there's AI right there. But then the second way is because Nvidia has a huge incentive to put most of their production into AI accelerators. Take, for example, their most recent quarterly earnings call, where you can see that gaming is this little sliver right here. And you can actually see that it's dropped from just a year ago, while data center, i.e. AI demand, has completely boomed for Nvidia, leading them to, I'm not sure if they still are, but at least it's one point, being the largest company in the world, overtaking even Apple. You can see right here, this is in millions. So in Q4 of 2024, they sold $18,404 million, or they made $18,404 million here. I mean, just absurd amounts of money in the AI space. So Nvidia has a massive incentive to prioritize their dies for AI accelerators versus gaming cards. Don't forget that while a lot of people aren't actually using gaming cards for data center applications, Nvidia is using the die that could go to gaming for data center. So they're having to prioritize, where do these go? And you can actually see that according to Nvidia, though of course they have a massive incentive to overstate things, but they are making some pretty wild claims. The CEO actually predicted that AI spending will increase 300% plus in just 3 years. So demand for AI is only set to increase. And even at current demand, AI hasn't been satiated, with OpenAI claiming that a shortage in GPU, you can see right here, GPU shortage is to blame for not updating to GPT 4.5. So they're likely going to pressure NVIDIA to move even more wafers over to AI production. Basically, don't expect GPU prices to go down anytime soon. And next up for today is if GPU prices aren't completely absurd enough, people are now getting scammed, and these scams are getting extremely sophisticated. As you can see right down here, what actually happened, and from what I've seen, it looks like this is not the first time this has happened, but you can see Unicus Hardware actually found someone who had sold a GPU as a 4090, except what they did was they took the 3090 die and then put it on the 4090's board. They even made it say 8102 to just completely try to fake people out on this. I mean, it's completely absurd. One of the ways that you can tell that this is a 3090 and not a 4090, you can see that the MLCC that's actually around it looks different from the 4090. So that is one way to tell, though. I mean, obviously, if you're trying to buy stuff on eBay or whatever, you can't ask them to completely take the GPU apart or anything like that. And like I said, they took the GA102 off to then put AD102 on it. You can see it actually right here. And then up here, you can see how the GPU itself, that is not a 4090. And apparently they're doing this because the layout on it is very, very similar. So the GPU should be able to just fit right into it. But get this, it didn't work. As you can see, it says it appears the card was non-functional. Now, I will state that they originally sold it for an absurdly low price, $530, but that really doesn't matter. I mean, yes, the person maybe should have been more aware of the market for 4090s right now in their area, but if you're the one selling the 4090, I don't care if you're selling it for $2. If it's not a 4090, then yeah, that's a scam. So yeah, this is just a warning. So when you are trying to buy a GPU at a lower price, or at least a reasonable price, or they're not even reasonable right now on eBay, but still, if you are looking to buy one, make sure to do your due diligence. And lastly for today, we have a couple really awesome leaks from Moore's Law is Dead concerning some of AMD's next-gen CPUs. Starting things off, we have their next-gen Zen 6 architecture, which you can see that it's targeting a 10% plus IPC uplift, which obviously that one isn't exactly all that exciting or anything like that, but there is something exciting in just a second. Before I get to that, there's a little bit more bad news in that, according to him, the chiplets are going to be 12-core chiplets, meaning that the recent report claiming that we could be looking at as much as 32 cores may in fact not be true if this one is. Now, I will say that he does claim that there is a 32-core Zen 6C chiplet, which is pretty awesome, but he claims that, of course, with that being Zen 6C, that this is just made for the server market. Still, 12 cores is nice. I mean, don't forget these are chiplets, so we are talking up to 24 cores, so that is still a nice boost in cores. But the really big thing, well, not the really big thing, but kind of the interesting thing when it comes to Zen 6 is the fact that it's targeting over 6 gigahertz clocks. And that, of course, is pretty nice, especially when we are talking a 10% plus IPC uplift combined, because don't forget that's at the same clock speed, combined with a pretty decent clock boost. Definitely not bad, and it does make Zen 6 pretty exciting, plus with that 24 cores, but the really exciting stuff is what he's talking about when it comes to 3D V-Cache. According to one of his sources, AMD is now able to stack 2 3D V-Cache chips on top of one another, meaning if this does come for next gen, AMD won't just kind of up the amount of 3D V-Cache that they're going to have. No, they're going to double it. So yeah, we could be talking 200 plus megabytes of L3 cache. Now, what this will do in gaming, I'm not really sure, but If it's anything like when they upped the 3D V-Cache before with obviously the 5800X3D and then the CPUs that came after it, if it can get anywhere near that amount of performance boost, it could be a serious beast of a gaming CPU. So while that does it for today, are you excited for next-gen 3D V-Cache chips? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.